Can anybody jump into the seat? Oh. Right, good evening and welcome everyone. It's Debs from Shaw Revolution here, empowering, inspiring and connecting people. And this week it says week 24, but it is actually week 25 of the Shaw Talks. I couldn't try and edit it. But this week we're so excited to have all the people in the room on Blab. And this week we're talking about the essence process of a course that we went on a couple of weeks ago. And it was about life-changing experiences. So I will be joined shortly by the fabulous guest host, Tracy Ann, who's having a slight malfunction right now, trying to get into the Blab room. So what I would like to do before we go any further, so sorry with the delay for anybody who's watching, or if you're watching this on replay, you won't know the malfunction that we're actually going through. So what I want to do, first of all, is play you a 4-minute video that basically talks about breaking down barriers. So maybe if you want to take notes, I'll share the link on the right hand side as well for anybody to look at as well. So if we just watch this for a few minutes, just while we just get everything sorted, and then if you've got any questions, you can write them on the side or give us any feedback on the side. So enjoy, and I've not seen this yet, so I'm sure I'll get something from it too. So sit back, watch and enjoy. If you need to go grab a drink, you've got 4 minutes to do so. Thank you.
Contrary to what we think, the biggest part of our consciousness is not our conscious logical mind, but the part that is not conscious. This part records all the past experiences in the form of memories. Imagine your mind is a floating iceberg. The small bit you see at the top is your conscious mind. But under the surface is the biggest part that is not conscious. Our conscious part communicates with words, but our non-conscious part communicates with feelings. Our feelings express themselves very well through our actions. You can see this when we intend to do one thing consciously, but we end up doing something completely different. We often react to some of the experiences of our lives, even though our past only exists as memories and no longer in reality. These unconscious emotional reactions can hijack us to act in unhelpful ways in our relationships, our interactions with people. The essence process allows participants to explore these barriers, understand and manage their actions, try to live your true self, possible, right? In the early life, up to around 2 years old, some of our early experiences have been painful and overwhelming for us. In order to protect our glass ball, our essence, suffering from these painful feelings, our body creates a little of media of good feeling, but by keeping with my drive our decisions when dream. As we grow and act with people, we try to hide our fears. Another layer and ask to protect ourselves from this fear and pain. This is the face we show to other people. The face that says we are okay when we are not. This layer can separate us from our own true selves. The intensity of our experiences dictates the strength of the layers we create. The stronger the past painful experience, the stronger the fear, and the stronger the protection. Every now and again, a little piece of who we are appears, yet it is deeply hidden under our layers of protection. When we get into relationships, we hold on to this protection and we believe these protections are who we really are. Sometimes because of them, we end up attracting the very thing we are most afraid of in personal and other relationships. The essence process is a very safe experiential journey that allows participants to feel these emotional layers through their behaviors and reactions. Then they are supported to use all the skills they learn from the course to manage what they could not manage early in life. When we feel safe, we can connect and relate to people from our essence with confidence and clarity. We become more effective in every aspect of our lives, especially in relationships and even in leadership.
Hello there, my darling. Good evening. Finally, we're getting, wow. So we got a bit of background noise on that one. So I'll just share the link on the right-hand side in case anybody wants to watch it again. But I was nearly in tears because it kind of brought everything back to me. You know, it's really weird. So I just want to welcome this evening my lovely friend, lifesaver. Life-changing experiences I've had with this young lady has just been unbelievable. She's an amazing soul, amazing friend, got amazing ambition in the world. We're so connected in too many ways. And, you know, I just want to say thank you from the deepest part of my heart that you've really helped me in too many ways to mention. I don't think I could ever repay you for some of the things that you've done. So that's how I'm going to introduce you. This is the lovely Tracy Ann Woods. You've gone on mute now. See, you can put your unmute back on.
Okay, yeah. Serious malfunction.
Oh, bless you, bless you. So say hello to everyone this evening. We've had 16 people already in the room. Thank you for joining us.
So I've got anybody else here?
It's a little bit. I'm just going to try and turn mine down. Is everybody else hearing an echo? It's like I'd rather have you in and have an echo than not have you in at all. Do you understand what I mean? So just turn yours down a little, you know, so we can still hear your voice. You might have to talk louder, but just turn it down. Do you understand what I mean? So
Okay.
for anybody who's watching this on replay, it's live. So, you know, apologies for any malfunctions that we've had this evening. Right. Okay. So I think we're all right. So yes, Dr. Manise didn't know who the guy was, didn't know anything about the Essence process a year ago. So would you just like to explain to everyone what it is and why did I end up on it, let's say, or tell us about your experiences from before?
Okay. So I first did this course 3 years ago, and it had such a massive impact on my life. The course is really about healing our past relationships and becoming aware of our protections, the protections that we've built up throughout our life to make us feel safe. And it's about peeling those layers, peeling back those layers and finding out who our true essence is. Who are we? Underneath all those layers of protection, who's underneath?
I was saying it's quite funny as that, Tracy Ann, because there was a girl there that weekend who talked about peeling an onion. She'd like put all these layers around her, don't you remember? And like it was like peeling the onion, you know, to get to the inner core, you know, and it's probably making your eyes water along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how it feels. It's, you know, it's a tricky process because we're having to be a bit vulnerable and show our vulnerability, which can be quite challenging. It was for me anyway when I first started doing this work, and to be vulnerable made me feel a bit unsafe. But actually, what I've learned is that there's only one. You know, we just need to be vulnerable. We need to allow ourselves to be vulnerable because that's the only way we can heal.
Especially men, you know. I think Tracy Ann, I don't know about you, but men, you know, why have we made it not acceptable for men to show their emotions? You know, it's in this day and age, we're all human beings. We all have masculine and feminine energy within ourselves. And it's sad to think that men, especially, are the sex that seem to can't show their emotion. They've got to be hard. They can't cry. They can't be honest. They need to protect. They need to, you know, be there to provide. And although in this day and age, I think nobody really knows what their roles are anymore, you know, in the human race. But what I was saying is that I've been doing the Heart Circle now for well over a year, and we've got a Black Bonnet tomorrow that I'm co-hosting with Susan. But it talks there about going with your feelings rather than your thoughts, which is kind of what Dr. Manise was talking about. So do you want to elaborate a bit more on that?
Yeah, so actually what we do from being very small is we stop feeling our feelings. And it's partly society that makes that happen. So I'm a parenting coach as well, and I see this all the time with parents. Imagine a young child is crying, and often parents will say, "Oh, stop crying, don't be silly. It's okay, everything's fine," and they'll try and distract the child from feeling those feelings. But actually, the feelings are valid. It's okay to feel them. But I think from a young age, we learn to stop feeling, and as we get older, the layers of protection get bigger and bigger and wider and wider and wider, and we stop feeling altogether. And then as adults, we come up with strategies to numb those feelings because they become so uncomfortable and we're so not used to feeling them that we just have to shut them out. So we use work, we use alcohol, we use lots and lots of different strategies to numb us from feeling those feelings. And I suppose the purpose of the course is to start to feel again.
And I had really different feelings across the whole week, and it was great. It was radical, and what's weird is I think when you have an intention of something, so I basically had an intention and called it a transformational weekend, a transformational course. It was called the Essence Process, but I didn't call it that at any step of the time. So a year ago then, so it's tell them about the history of it then. So where is it? And
this course started approximately 20 years ago. And it's Manise Usri who runs the course, and he's now in 22 countries around the world. But it actually started in the UK, so they've been in the UK 20 years. And the course was started with the purpose of allowing people to work on themselves and allowing them to learn how to feel their feelings. And it's been so successful that, they're currently in Vietnam, delivering the course in Vietnam, and they're having hundreds and hundreds of people in Vietnam attend the same course as the people that are in London. I think that's powerful, that this work is going on around the world, and that around the world we've stopped feeling, and we need to start feeling our feelings again. But in order to do that, you have to be in a really, really safe environment. And you have to have people who are not going to laugh at you or, not going to make you feel stupid. Yes. So the course serves a really important purpose by really creating a safe space. And Manise Usri worked in the NHS prior to running this course. But he really felt like he wanted to reach more people in the world.
Just explain what that is to the worldwide viewers, Tracy-Ann.
Oh, sorry, yeah. In England, we have the NHS, which stands for National Health Service. So it's a service that we all pay into, and then we get free healthcare.
Dave's put there, there's a lot of work that is needed in schools. I've just put it there, Shaw is. And as part of the Shaw movement, we kind of want to get children to bring out their emotions and go that it is okay, or express their ideas. And what's the weirdest thing is I've had mine suppressed. When you said there about a child, suppressing the feelings, I can remember I have run seminars in prison. That's awesome, Dave. We'll open the seat shortly. We just want to share a couple of things first, and then what we're going to do is just swap the seat over. So we don't want anybody prolonged in the seat. Share your experiences, and then let's pass it on then to someone else so we can get...
I'm just wondering how you were feeling, really, because you did the weekend and you didn't know what to expect. But how were you feeling?
I know you sent me the book.
Sunday.
I know you sent me that lovely kind gift and the book, but I kind of didn't want to know too much, so I've just shared the website there. But I didn't look at the website. Didn't know I didn't even know how to pronounce his name because I'm like a bit dyslexic. didn't really know what to expect. And I just knew, I think there was an inner knowing a year ago when we had this conversation about bringing this great event up from London up to Yorkshire. I didn't really speak too much about it, but I think you said you need this, Debs, and I know you. So once you said I needed it, and this was a year ago, I mean, I've gone through so much in the last 12 months, but I've gone through so much in the weekend. I mean, like, I think my whole life's flashed before me in that particular weekend itself. But I just knew I was ready. I knew that I wanted to clear out the past. I mean, anybody who's read the Celestine Prophecy book know that there's 10 insights in the book for whoever's read it. And one of the chapters in there calls clearing the past. Now, I think a lot of us do need to clear the past before we can be present and go into the future. And you might deny it. You might think you got over that relationship or that divorce or that abuse or that addiction or that thing. And I promise you, unless you are living the life that you really love and really want to be, and you're heading towards with focus and ambition, and you're living as much in the present as you possibly can, I believe you've not cleared the past. That's my opinion. And I'd smile and I'd be happy and I'd run around everywhere and I'd just go, I want to do this, like a social butterfly. Reality is I had a lot of work to do that weekend. Tracy Ann has kind of been there every step of the way. And over that weekend, you saw, I guess, the radical changes of a lot of people, but in particular me. I think there was a lot of excess baggage or a lot of excess cluttering that I needed to get rid of in the mind, body and soul, which is kind of weird right now because Dr. Manise told us not to do anything radical or too big for 2 weeks after you came out of that course. Now we're only just over a week in it, and it's kind of, I'm getting ready for something really radical. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to do little things and just try and get back into normality. I feel like I've had a restart button on my life. That's probably the best way to describe it. Restart. And or born again, in Christianity we call it born again. So I'm having a massive declutter physically at home. It's spring in the UK, so we call it a spring clean. So I believe that I've been spring cleaned from my mind, body and soul on that weekend, and now I physically need to do it at home. That's like relationships, that's like things I need to say, things I need to do. It's clearing out stuff, stop hoarding things, get ready to have something new and radical coming into my life. So I don't really want to make any big decisions for at least another week. And just kind of get ready. A bit like they call it, what's it called when you're just about to give birth to a baby? They call it, there's a name for it. What do they call it? Nesting. It's the nesting period, like you're just getting ready to birth something really crazy and amazing. So what's Jel put there? All switching our definition of normality. Exactly.
Yeah. So what is normality?
Exactly. What is it? Well, this was another thing, an emotion that I'd been suppressing for such a long time is jealousy. And I'm going to completely open my heart to you right now. I've got nothing to hide and nothing to fear. Jealousy, I'd suppressed it. I'm going, I can't be jealous. How can I be jealous, right? I was kind of jealous, and I'll tell you what I was jealous about. I was jealous. Hi, Vanessa. I was jealous about me not being a normal family. What is normal? I have no idea in this day and age, but we've been taught and controlled, and our belief values as mum, dad, children, probably 2.4 children or one of each, to make it like even, with a nice house, a nice garden, nice car or two, nice jobs, all the stuff that you want, because that's what they show you on TV, and that's what the put into your brain to say that that's normal. Well, I'm a single mum. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I mean, Bethany's saying there, me too, when my dad left my mum. So it's that jealousy thing, right? And this is the thing. I've tried to suppress it. Hi, darling. I've tried to suppress it for so long, and I didn't even know it was an emotion that I was allowed to feel. And when we did one kind of meditation, I kind of got a little bit angry and a little bit envious and jealous over people who I know. That's what's embarrassing. I'm being honest, with people that I know and some friends. But do you know something? Is everything on face value that everything looks happy? They put nice happy pictures over on Facebook, and is that even reality? I
It's not real.
I know it's a facade, and we're all wearing masks. An actor, an actress, a singer, a songwriter, maybe not an artist. I think an artist does show its soul on the artwork, on the, you know, drawing, or, you know, the piece of sculpture or art that they do. But definitely actors and actresses, they're wearing masks, and I believe that we do the same. So I'm going to put my hands up now and said, once I admitted that I was jealous out loud in front of people, it was so embarrassing and so cringeworthy. But once I'd done it, what did Dr. Manise say to me? What did he say to me? Do you remember?
No.
He actually said, everybody put their hand up if you've ever been jealous before, and everybody put their hand up. And he goes, Deborah, you're a human being. You're allowed to be jealous. Hello, we've just had an epiphany moment. We can be jealous. We can be angry. We can be bitter. We can be frustrated. We can cry. Woo! We can cry. Stop suppressing the feelings, because it takes those feelings to come out of you for you to be able to acknowledge it, take it on board, take it in, let it out in whatever format it is. Maybe you can share a little bit, Tracy Ann, shortly about children, and then move on. So Dave's put there, a few people fake their own deaths, but thousands of people are faking their own lives. Oh my goodness me. How true is that?
I think, yeah, absolutely. I think what we were saying earlier about Facebook, it is fake, isn't it? It's not real. People only put things on there that are really good and, you know, really exciting, and it makes their lives look really exciting. But in reality, they're not putting the mundane, everyday things on Facebook, and who'd want to know anyway? But I think, for me, in our society, it is really difficult to be yourself, because I want to be just accepted for me, for who I am, not for what I look like, not for what I've got, but just me, just Tracy. You know, I'm just Tracy, and I want to be accepted just for me. And I think that can be quite a challenge, that we all feel this pressure to go around pretending that we're something that we're not. So part of the work for me on the weekend was being my completely authentic self, warts and all. You know, if people don't like me for who I am, then I'm learning to get used to that. Mm-hmm. Whereas prior to doing the course, I think I was so wrapped up in what other people thought about me that I wasn't allowing myself to be real. So what I'm working on and what I'm learning is actually I'm good enough, just me as I am.
You sure are, girlfriend. Sure are.
If people don't like me, then that's okay. But, I'm beginning to like myself. I suppose that's.
I love you. I love you, and I'm saying to you, even if the world hated you, which they don't, I've got more love for you than all the people in the world that could ever add up to the love for. So, but this is how I look at it. We came into this world alone, and then that's the truth, yeah? And we will leave this world alone. That is the truth. We are born with a death sentence, if you want to look at it from a negative point of view. However, it's what we do with the journey whilst we're here. Somebody said there about it's all part of human experiences. I think it's the journey of life. What you're going to do, come in and like everything all be happy. I mean, I've wondered about the word happy. It's kind of an external kind of a fakeness, you know, like I'm happy, which is what I had when I had postnatal depression. I'm happy, but actually I was completely lost and broken. So a bit like what Dr. Manise said in the video that we played earlier, it was falseness, put a bit of lipstick on, put a smile on, I'm happy. What is being happy? Tell you what, I've been feeling more what I feel like inside, and I feel a sense of joy. I feel a sense of inner peace. I feel a sense of contentment. I think contentment is an underrated, an amazing word. Kind of Google it and find out what it's about. That kind of serene kind of, I'm really content. I'm content with who I am and what I am and stuff like that. And if more people just have that rather than going, I'm searching for happiness. When I get this, I'll be happy. It's all an external kind of false facade of something that's kind of not real. You understand what I mean? I'm just trying to keep up with comments as well. There's a lot going on the side here. God loves us even if we think no one does, even if we don't love ourselves. What's your name, Jel Cruz? I'm sorry, I don't want to keep calling you that, but who is it? So have you got, what's your proper name? You know, I feel like I'm calling you the wrong name. So yes, he sure does. The only way to achieve bliss, joy and contentment is to live your life inside out. Love it. I agree with you, Debs. Contentment makes me smile. It sure does. It so does. My simple motto in life is to love, laugh and live. And I think for me, if I just kind of cruise around, you know, in my life every day and I just have those, anything else is a bonus. That's how I kind of see it. You know, like laughing, laughter. People are taking life too seriously. Well, don't you think, honey?
I completely agree. Yeah, I did some counselling courses last year, and transactional done. And what I learned about myself was I've got lots and lots of nurturing parents in me, but not enough child, not enough joy, not enough. It's called free child. And I was very low on free child, so I'm trying to build more joy into my life.
Free child, I love it. Free the child within yourself. Yeah. Come on, set your child free.
So I need more joy in my life.
You know what I did today? Do you know what I did today? I was in that coaching course thing this morning, and it was gorgeous and glorious and sun shining outside. So I went running over the field going, yay, we're free, we're free. And like, they almost look at me and say, she's crazy. But everyone kind of wants to follow you then and wants to do the same. But my little girl on Sunday, well, it was Sunday or Saturday, it was a nice warm day, and she got a jug of water. And she went out on the garden in the grass outside, and she went, I'm going to go wet myself, right? And I'm going, don't wear your clothes, don't do this, don't do that. I sound awful, don't I? And she threw all this water on. I filmed her actually outside in the garden. I shared it on my Facebook and on my Twitter. And I'll tell you what, we need to live like our children. We need to watch what they're doing and how they're acting. I'm not saying you all go out and just get a jug of water and throw it on yourself, although that could be kind of funny. But film it, you know, like so you can see it back yourself. But we need to just chill out a bit more. So from a mum's perspective, you know, with your help along the way as a parenting coach, you kind of helped me through very difficult times. Being a mum, I've struggled, you know, I've been postnatal depression. I've struggled being a single mum. And now I'm enjoying, after the transformational course, I am now enjoying motherhood for the very first time after 8 years. So I just want to say thank you so much. Look at me. I'm such a content mum. And like, we've just built close relationships up, and I'll never be able to thank you enough. I really, really won't, for everything that you've done. I feel blessed. You're like an angel in disguise. That's how I feel about you. And I wanted you on here tonight because I wanted to share you with the world, you know, and just what you're trying to do. Tell people what you really want. So the Essence process is great, and we want to get as many people on it or aware of it. Or Dave, I know that Dave does some transformational courses. It's all about people finding out who they really are within. 3 questions you need to ask yourself. Who are you? Why are you here? And this is the third one, which I've been asking people a lot. What is your gift in life? Once you know your gift and you know what it is, and you go, right, I know what it is now. I know now I know what I need to do in life. But you might get through life and not even know what it is. So don't search for it. It's already within. Go find it.
Yeah, I think it took me till I was in my 40s to find out what I wanted from life and what my gifts are. But actually, I feel really excited and full of passion about what I want to do, because I see so many people who, if they'd have had parents who had the knowledge about bonding and attachment and about how important the early years were, that they wouldn't be having all these issues as they grow old, and they wouldn't be covered in all these protections to keep them safe. So I really see that if we can change the way that parents parent in a more accepting, loving, compassionate and empathic way, it literally would change a generation. It literally would. And
didn't they say if majority of 8-year-olds or younger started to meditate even in school, the world would be a much more amazing place for our next generation. We can break the cycle, and so I think that's what we kind of we want to try and do across the world, isn't it?
So the best way to create peace in the world is to create peace within ourselves, and how better to create peace within our children so that they grow up feeling peaceful. That's going to prevent a lot of the problems that we've got, because a lot of the problems come from people's inner anger and inner problems that they're suppressing and going around with their mask on, pretending that everything's okay, whereas most people, once you remove the mask, actually they're really vulnerable underneath it all. So my goal, my mission is to share that information and actually to change how we see parenting, because it's seen as quite a stigmatized thing in the UK anyway. I don't know about in other countries. It's seen as, oh, you must be a bad parent if you need parenting support, but that's just rubbish. Everybody needs support with something at some time, and most people just Google it and find out what they need to find out. But actually there's a lot of conflicting stuff on parenting on the internet. But the stuff I'm sharing with parents is the latest stuff based on neuroscience, based on how parenting affects a child's brain. And these messages are held by the academics, and they need to be shared and shared widely with the world.
I'll tell you what I found fascinating from the weekend. In the first hour when we first got there on the Friday, which is 3 really long days, the first thing he said, Dr. Manice, was within those first couple of years of your life, so the moment you were born to the moment you could speak, whatever age that was,
yeah, about age 3,
you had to have those firm foundations built, and you won't have known it. So this is what we were saying, things like the basic essentials that you needed to be nurtured. So things like warmth, love, attention. When you cried, that you were, looked after, because that's the only way you could really communicate. Food, warmth, love, all the basic essentials that we need. And even on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, on the right at the bottom, the firm foundations is all that. Now, I started to cry because I was, anybody who knows my story, I was fostered. I was probably dragged away from my mum when I was first born, and then put into a children's home. In a children's home, we used to have children's homes like then, a bit like Annie. Anybody who's seen The Orphanage, probably something like that. So I won't have had all what you maybe all have had, and I'm not saying you don't know whether you've had, but you might have had to go right back to clear the past of that. And that's kind of what I did on this transformational week, and I had to go right back to birth and encapsulate all those feelings that I had, like fast tracking to clear it all. But do you know what I've loved about it is my birth parents and my adoptive parents, so my mum's no longer with us now. Bless her. I've had to kind of let it go for all them and say, do you know what? They did the best that they could do with the tools that they had, with the time that they had, with what they knew, and I'm not going to take that away from them. So, but now I'm aware, or you guys are semi-aware, or you're kind of aware, that there's something kind of not quite right. You're halfway there. And then once you're aware of it, you can then drive change towards it to get to where it is you need to be.
Absolutely, yeah. And for me, I think let's have another generation of children who are not in a seminar room when they're in the 50s. That it doesn't take till the 50s.
Room, do we? We don't. Dr. Manice might not be with us, in all those decades' time, and it keeps somebody in a job, I guess, doing what they do. But let's do prevention rather than the cure. The movement is about empowering, inspiring, and connecting people, but also getting people to express themselves, like have them feelings, and also question the status quo, like I've done. So ever since I was a child, I'd question everything. Why is that like that? Why do you do that like that? Why can't you do something like this? Why? And then I've had it suppressed for too many years. Hello, I'm back with a vengeance here with the Shaw movement to drive change across the world, and I won't be stopped. My little girl, she's 8 years old and kind of doing the same. So I'm kind of letting her express too many emotions actually, but all her emotions and her ideas and her concepts, and just blows my mind some of the stuff she comes out with, and that's our next generation and next generation people.
Yeah.
But it's really exciting. I just want to share a couple of comments. Dave's put the 3 questions that they were asked when he was 19 and backpacking in Europe was, where have you been? Why are you here? And where are you going? What great 3 questions that would be to ask of you in your life. Dr. Manish talked about the sat nav. He said, how can you key into where you're going if you don't actually know where you're going or where you're heading? Or how do you know, even if you know where you're heading, but you don't know where you are now, how do you know how to get from A to Z or A to B or whatever way you want to call it? So imagine your life being a bit like a sat nav. So you need to know exactly where you are right this present moment, and then you'll key in the destination code of where you're going. Might not be a physical place, but you need to know where you're heading. But this is the cool thing. I don't want to go the motorway in the quickest route. I want to go the scenic route. I want to see the sights and sounds, and I want to, just go the longer route. If everybody's going the fastest route to get there the quickest, I want to go the scenic, and I want to just like take it all in and see you all over then at the other side. And it might just be me on my own going in the complete opposite direction. But yeah, it was a brilliant analogy, was that one?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep up with the comments. There's a lot going on. We will open the seats in just a minute. So what we'd like to ask you this evening is, I've had a massive life-changing experience on a couple of occasions, actually, but this has been the latest one where it's basically put the last missing jigsaw piece of my life. So it's much more clearer now what it is I'm doing and where I'm heading and what's happening. So this is just the beginning for me. So I feel like I've spent half my life learning, growing and all that kind of stuff. The second part then is now actually living my life. Sorry, we're not letting you in, my darling. We've not opened the seat just yet, so you just want to just hold fire, that'll be fine. So some of the comments then. This life is a test. It has always been a test. If it was a real life, then you would have been given further instructions. It can seem a test or a game. We learn with each other and with the choices we make. Life's a journey, and it's all about those experiences, those memories, those when you fall, get back up again, dust yourself off and get back up again, and you may fall over again, but that's okay. Do you understand what I mean? We're all kids at different ages. I'm definitely a big kid.
I'm intrigued about the further instructions.
What kind of further instructions? Dave, do you want to jump in, honey? Want to ask you about your life-changing experiences, and I know you're a transformational coach, so I'd love to hear yours. It's never too late to have a happy childhood. I'm like a big kid, so that's fine now. I realised I had to be an adult at a young child. This was the other thing, Tracy Ann, that came out for me, that I had 4 siblings younger than me. So at 8 years old, which is what my daughter is now, I had to look after all my younger brothers and sisters. So I was like a mini mum. So I had to be serious. I had to look after them, change the nappies, feed them, all that kind of stuff. I never had a childhood, and that was kind of taken away from me. But it's never too late to live your childhood.
Completely agree.
Yeah. So has anybody noticed a difference in me at all? Have you noticed a difference in me, Tracy Ann?
I definitely noticed you being so much calmer. Definitely. Speaking slower.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and clearer. I think I'm much more clear and more focused.
Yeah.
And I ain't got a care in the world, but in a nice way. Do you know, like I always say that I've sometimes got fluffy clouds in my head, but I ain't got a care. Do you know, like in such a blissful way, and it's just it's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to be right now. I mean, if I want to listen to everybody else, go do this, go do that. Why you're not doing this? Why you're not doing that? Especially family and friends. And I'm just going, but I'm living my truth now. I'm being who I really am. Even the clothes seem to be a facade. I've been watching like the likes of Gandhi, and they don't need all the gimmick, shall we say, just to be the soul that's shining through, themselves, experiencing heaven on earth. I think that's exactly what I did experience that weekend. Anybody want to jump in? We're going to open the seat, but what we want you to share with us, have you had any life-changing experiences? What was it? What changed it? And what kind of advice would you give to everybody else watching, from your perspective? So do you want to share yours, Tracy Ann? Have you had any life-changing moments then that's changed everything? And what did you do, and what could you share with people?
I suppose my life-changing experience was about 18 months ago.
18 months ago, yeah. And
because I've been in a victim really for a lot of years, and was in an abusive marriage for years, and I used to tell people my story all the time. But about 18 months ago, and I was doing some personal development work, on the Essence, another course that the Essence do, the advanced course, and I suddenly realised that actually I'm not my story, that I am me. And it allowed me to release all that rubbish that I was using and just let it go and completely move on with my life. And I had a moment where I actually got in touch with who I am, not my story, not my daughter, not my house, not my car, not my job, nothing, just actually who I am as a person. And I've never really felt in touch with that before.
Mm.
And it has completely changed my life.
Wow. Do you know what's really beautiful about the Essence weekend is your daughter was on it, and your mum was three
generations of my family.
You also
you
all love each other, but you're
out there in the world. I would like my whole family to go on the Essence process, and so we're 3 down so far. So myself, my daughter, and my mother have all been on the course, and I'm moving on to other family members next because I want them to share in the Essence community and the Essence love.
Can I just say something to you though? There's an effortless about me now where I was trying too hard before. Can anybody relate to me here? Where you try too hard to get something, or you try too hard to focus on something, especially goals. We've got these goals imprinted in his heads going, get a goal. And I just goes, shouldn't it be more enjoyable? I sometimes don't like the word goals. I think we should call them something else, like your dreams, or your love, or your passion, or something that's kind of a bit more friendly, user friendly. But what I will say is that just living it every day and breathing it every day, but in a more effortless way of doing it. It's like I know exactly where I'm headed, but I don't want to try too hard. I want it to be kind of an effortless way. And it's just so seamless. And rather than saying desperate, I need your help, come and help me, come and buy this, come and do this. It's nobody wants to hear that anymore. There's a new revolution in town, and it's basically a different way of speaking to people, listening to people, helping people, not with any expectations in return. Like, for example, I'm going to give you an example. A lot of people, Dave's coming in, a lot of people have you've shown me so much love and so much acceptance and so much compliments and gifts all over the world. I'm overwhelmed every time. Hi, Dave.
Good evening.
What I want to say is there's something about being able to accept it and go, right, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Right, what can I give you back in return? That's what I've done for 40 years. Right, so what can I do to... Usually it's the other way around. I don't receive because I'm giving too much. I give. And I never expect anything. I never do something to expect to be given. But I've just, over the last 12 months, I've let people give me things, not ask for anything, but I've completely accepted it and said thank you, and not felt that I've had to do anything else or give anything else, or I've got to get you something back because you got me that. And it's liberating, very liberating. What do you think to that, Dave?
That's absolutely right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. I mean, I've seen a difference in you since the weekend that you had. But we see a lot of difference in people, and it takes a while to assimilate yourself back into society after it, because you go through this change, which will blow the circuits of everybody around you. If you worked in an office of 50 people and you went on Friday, the Thursday evening being you in work, Friday you come to our seminar, Saturday you're there, Sunday you're there, and then Monday you go back to work, and you're real you. And you see the world with a new or fresh pair of eyes. And your experiences are clearer and more qualified and defined. But also you have fear, but you know how to use it and how to control it. And your fears now are the fears themselves. You see them for what they really are. not for what you perceive them to be, not more than they are. Any challenges or problems that you have, we don't use the word problem, we use the word challenges. Any challenges that you have, you can deal with. And your life now is still the roller coaster that it always was. But you are now sitting in the cart rather than being tied to the tracks and being run over every now and then.
I love that concept. I love that concept. You're now in the driver's seat of your life, and you decide what you want to do or how you want to feel at any given time. I love it.
Because you're in the car enjoying the ride.
Yeah. You might go the scenic route as well. You don't have to follow the roller coaster like everybody else.
Exactly. You know, the thing with the scenic route and the sat nav, it's true. You don't. The thing that people get caught up with in their life is how. How will I do this? How will this work? How will I achieve that? The how in life is not your business. You know, as long as you know why you're doing something, the reason you're doing something, the how will show up. It gets taken care of. You just know that you need, when you want to do something, there's a reason you do it. It's not, when people do things so often without knowing why, they're just focused on how am I going to do it. They don't know why. They don't know what they want from it. They just know that they want to do it, and they focus on how to do it. You just realize and understand that there are things that you want to do. And how you're going to do them, who cares? The how will show up.
I'm glad you said that, Dave, because there's Simon Sinek, I don't know if you can find the video actually on YouTube, talks about the why. So even Apple or these big players, it's not like, come and buy this because these are the benefits, which is how you've always been sold to. So I'll say this to you, the Shaw movement and the Shaw revolution is not what it is or how we get there. It's why I really want to do it, because we've been spoon-fed or fed all his lives, I guess, lies or an illusion or something that we've had to take for so long. And this is all about positive energy. I don't want to talk about anything negative because I don't think it should be about that. I think it should be about raising the positive vibration in the world. So why are we doing it? Because the world can't sustain the way that we're going, especially for our generation and the next generation and the generations to come. So let's stop moaning about it. Let's stop trying to search for happiness that's an external thing when actually it's internal. And let's all come together. Let's all help each other raise the vibration and come away from fear and come away from the corruption and come away from the war and everything else that's going on. And let's get our world back to the place that we really want it. So that's why I'm doing what I do.
See, but that's you. You see, there are a lot of people around who want to do that.
Exactly.
But they don't know how. And they're focusing on the how. There's a list of things: the who, what, where, when, why, and how.
Yeah.
Now you take the how out of the equation. The who, what, where, when, and why. As long as you're sure, and there's a plug, as long as you're sure of those five, the how will automatically fit into that puzzle. It's the missing piece that drops into the puzzle. As long as you know exactly what you want to do and you focus on that, as you said earlier about not being able to you know, should you focus on something? Should you were talking about your goal and not losing sight of the goal. Goals are personal, but there was this. We described this scenario. There was an archer, a very famous archer, called Howard Hill, and he would. I think he did the arrow that split the arrow in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He's quite an old guy when he did that then, but he was the best archer, the most proficient archer who could hit the bullseye again and again and again on a consistent basis. And he did all this archery stuff in films, in sport, and he could hit this target again and again and not miss. He could split an arrow, not miss it. Now, I could take you and get you to hit that target more consistently than Howard Hill.
Wow.
Now you're going to say, how's that possible? It's simple.
I want to.
Do you know how simple it is? All I have to do is blindfold Howard Hill, spin him around a couple of times, give him a bow and arrow, and we all run out of the way and see what happens. Now you're going to say, how can he hit a target he can't see? But the better question is, how can you hit a target that you don't have? If you haven't got a target, or you lose sight of the target, you will never ever hit it. You will never achieve it because your focus is gone. And what does that is we do the thing that we should not do, is that we get caught up in what everybody else is doing.
Can I just stop you there, Dave? Thank you so much for that. Just pause for a second. Sure. Tracy Ann, take note of what that's just been said. You need to get that target back, Mrs., and you're aiming for that bullseye. I want you to get that back. So you heard what he said. Get that target back, Mrs. Bullseye.
Yeah, I've just written that down.
With you. Get that blindfold off, get the target back up, and you go out and get it, Mrs. Can I just say hi to Jel? Thank you so much for your amazing comments and participation. I've seen you loads of times before, but this is the first time I've physically met you. So evening and welcome. But I think you're on mute. Just take it off mute, darling. Still, can you hear it? Can you hear? No, still can't hear you, sweetie. Might need to turn your volume up. That's better. Yeah. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me, and thanks for opening the seat and just having this discussion. I think more discussions like this should be had. So many others out there are just all about, consumerism and everything else, and this is definitely something that the world needs more of.
Oh, thank you.
So
thank you so much. I just want to say the Shaw Talks have come from the idea of TED Talks, but what happens with TED Talks, somebody stands on a stage and speaks for 15, 20 minutes of fame and the audience watch. I wanted to bring a new revolutionary way of TED Talks and have it so that we have up to 4 people speaking at one time, but it's very much audience participation. And this is a new way of doing the talks, but each topic every week is something very topical across the world that we can all kind of embrace and bring in, and nothing's taboo. Although I did have a bit of a taboo subject the other day that wasn't mine, it was somebody else's, and it kind of caused a bit of conflict, which I love healthy debates, but not heated, pointing at you kind of debates. I want to bring that healthiness back. So I'd love to ask you then, Jel, what, lovely name, by the way, what have you had any life-changing experiences? What was it? What did you get out of it, and what have you done differently? How's it changed you then after that?
I wouldn't really say there's. I think just like what you've mentioned earlier about our life being a journey. It's a constant life-changing experience, it seems like, and evolving from those experiences and learning from them and bouncing off of different people. I think as a young person, when I was even younger, I was able to see patterns and notice these things with other people and even with my own experiences, and just kind of wonder, well, why is it this way or why is it that way? And I think from then on, I kind of learned, but at the same time, I still had these actions to where it's like it's based out of the things that I've learned in the past, like like the ego, as other people would call it. But I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with that, but I guess I'm just sharing with you my experiences, I guess.
Can I ask how old you are, Jill?
I'm sorry?
Can I ask how old you are? Or how young you are?
I'm 34. I'm not that young.
34. God, you have got such a little cutie face, like, do you look younger? So that'll be good in like 20 or 30 years' time, so embrace it, my darling. What would you say to that, Tracy Ann?
Thank you.
Agreed.
I really love the topic that you guys are having, and also being able to share, that we are all just kids. Sometimes we become adults and we think that we have to act a certain way or set such a big high example for other people, but sometimes that pressure even maybe kills other people, and or kill themselves, and it's sad because we're here to really enjoy life and to enjoy each other and enjoy nature that God has intended for us to enjoy, and sometimes we forget that and we miss that.
I proper love you. Can I just say that? And I don't know if we're connecting over on Twitter, and I feel really blessed that you're in here participating. It's funny actually, because you type in loads on the side and then you jump in and like you're a person of fewer words than what you are typing on the side. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, you're pretty accurate with that. Yes.
Do you know what was really funny? I'm gonna just leave with this, and then we're gonna share a podcast. So I'll need maybe Dave, if you can jump out the sea, we're gonna share this podcast, and then you can come back in a little bit later. But Jel, just while you're there, something that happened on the transformational weekend, Dave, you'll be able to relate to this as well. There was about maybe half a dozen people out of the 32 people that were extremely shy. I wouldn't call you shy, although you maybe are. I'm quite shy deep underneath, but extremely shy. Wouldn't get the microphone, didn't want to participate, was right at the back, hiding away. Now, it was kind of funny because what the radical changes I saw by the end of the weekend is actually, have a guess who got the most attention by the end of the weekend? It was the people who had been hiding away and shying away. I believe that their subconscious was actually saying, look at me, but don't look at me, but don't look at me. And what's really weird now is I've got a different perspective on victims. And it might seem a kind of hard perspective on victims, but this is what I keep saying now. And I've been a victim for too many years, so I'm speaking from experience here. I used to go, feel sorry for me, look at me, I was adopted, I don't have a proper family, look. And that was me for 40 years, right? I'm just saying it exactly how it is, right? So I'm speaking from experience. Now, this is what happened is, I look at it this way. Is a victim because they gave away their power, or did somebody else take their power? Now, no one can take your power unless you physically give it away. So I'm sorry now. I'm kind of getting a much more firmer approach to people who are playing the victim card. I actually think they know what they're doing in the subconscious mind. Now, the ones who are like me, I'm speaking from my own perspective because I know who I am. I might be all loud and confident and crazy and happy and 100 mile an hour, but actually people who really know me, I think Tracy Ann probably does know me, I'm actually vulnerable, shy, naive, goofy. I'm like blonde underneath here. It's dark hair, but I'm kind of got a blonde attitude within. I'm a bit like goofy and dopey and all that kind of stuff, and a bit naive, and that's really who I am. And I'm very quiet, and I'm a very private person, actually, really deep within. So am I wearing this mask that's this facade? Just before we play this podcast, I'm going to share something with you. I was about 10 years old. This is no word of a lie, right? I was shy. I was picked on. I was bullied at school too many times over lots of different things. I was fostered. So that was like one of the things. I was skinny. I had victim written all over my forehead, whichever way you want to look at it. But I was picked on big time. And I actually didn't want to live anymore. And I was about 10 years old. And I remember going into the library. It was a bit like this transformational thing, actually, that we're talking about. I walked into the library and I sat down and I just went, I can't do this anymore. So right now I have a choice. And the choice is I either let this continue and I let it beat me, my life and everything. Or I say that I'm not going to be the same person when I walk out of this library, and I'm going to make radical changes and I'm going to come out in a new version of Deborah. So I came out at that library that particular day and I was strong, powerful, noisy, loud, this person that I kind of still am today, but it was a radical change of that decision that I made when I was about 10 years old. And actually I may be the person that I was before I went into that deep underneath, but now this has come across on there. Would you agree, Tracy Ann, that there's kind of a reverse link, that is kind of the opposite? But like the vulnerable
What do you
ones
mean by
that they
the
were
opposite?
kind of saying, like, I'm victim, I'm shy, but underneath they were crying out for attention.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think we're all crying out for attention, frankly. And actually, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with getting attention? That's how babies get their needs met. They get their needs met by getting attention. So why have we got such a downer on getting attention? You know, nothing wrong with it, is there? It's just the way you ask for attention can be a bit, tricky and not necessarily that helpful. But actually, if we were all able to ask for attention in a more loving, kind way without going into our games,
Joe, if
the
you
world
want
would
to,
be a much happier place.
sorry,
We'd just be
Joe,
able
if
to
you want
say,
to stay,
okay.
I'm going to duck out. All right.
Well, Jill, if you jump out, thank you for sharing. Dave, I'm just going to get you to share your life experience with us, and then we're going to play the podcast, and then we'll let everybody else come in after the podcast, yeah? Thank you, Jill. That was lovely. Thank you so much for sharing. Keep on being inspiring on the side, and definitely connect with me over on Twitter as well, my lovely. What were you saying, Dave? So what's been your life experience, life-changing experience?
car crash in 2009.
Wow, okay.
I was in France driving from Lyon to Paris. I stopped off in Lyon and bought 2 big gâteaux, these big strawberry cream cakes, to take to a dinner party in Paris before I came back to England. And up until that time, I'd been a sales trainer and a motivational trainer and firewalk trainer, and I've been dealing with people. I've been working with people to teach them how to sell, teach them about how to sell their products, and firewalking, the mind-altering NLP stroke psychological hypnosis type of thing, to put them in the mindset that they can walk on 1,500 degrees of red hot coals. But on the way back, a car came around the corner and sideswiped me, and I went over the edge of a bank. It was a 60-foot drop, and my car rolled down it, and everything was in slow motion. At the moment it done it, I realised that I wasn't going to die. I was certain of that. I wasn't going to be killed. I thought there's going to be more than this to do that. And I could see everything in slow motion. As the car rolled, the roof of the car came in, the windscreen, the windows smashed and crashed and cut me to pieces. It kept rolling. It was about 6 or 7 times down this bank and landed in this garden of this house. And I can remember thinking, this is a bit excessive, after it rolled 3 times. And I was so in that moment. But when I hit the ground, I hit the steering wheel and it knocked me out. And next thing I knew, there was sparks and fire and everything. And I thought, great, they're having a firework display now. But I was being cut out of the car. I was outside the car. They thought I was dead. For my limited amount of French, they were saying that I'd injured myself. My brains were all over the windscreen, or where the windscreen was, and over the dashboard. And I'm saying, that's a strawberry ghetto, it's not me. But there was all this going on, and then in that very moment, I was gone, changed completely. I realised that this is a short, uncertain life, and every single moment needs to be grasped, needs to be squeezed, and every single piece of juice that we can get out of it has to be squeezed out of it. We're here for a short time. And I went into hospital and I was strapped to a bed for 4 months. I couldn't move because my back had been injured. I hadn't damaged it. I didn't need an operation, but I needed to be mobile. And in those 4 months, I read the equivalent of the books that a heavy reader would read over a period of 10 years. And I changed the focus of my life from products, techniques on selling, and I focused purely on people.
Wow.
And from that moment, I read so much that I should have done. People were saying, I feel so sorry for you being strapped to that bed. I was glad because it gives me the freedom to do what I wouldn't have had the time to do. Yeah. And I'm grateful for two things. One is the car crash. I'm grateful for having that car crash because I wouldn't be doing now what I'm doing now. I wouldn't be training and teaching and traveling the world doing these seminars. And then I'm doing only the second one that we've done is an open one. All the others are fixed with people coming and know about it. They buy their tickets, that's it. But we've got an open seminar in November in London, which is what I want to talk to you about. Okay. And the other thing that I'm grateful for, and all the people who told me years ago, I would never be successful at what I'm doing. It won't work. And I'm grateful to them because without them, I wouldn't have been. Because they gave me the impetus to turn it around and not live a life of stress, worry, concern. We live an uncertain life in an uncertain world, in an uncertain universe, an uncertain time. And the beauty of it, the uncertainty is anything is possible.
Can I just say, wow, do you know, I've never heard your story to that nth degree. So this tonight was about people like yourself in actually sharing that. I'm blown away. If there's anything that I can do to get your message across, I love you. I wish I could physically give you a squeeze right now. Do you know, like, you know, just
4 or 5 years time, the way it'll change, I'll be able to download a squeeze. Don't worry about it.
Yes, give us squeezes. But everybody, you've really touched people. Look at some of the stuff on there. Yeah. I know it's amazing. Tracy-Ann, what would you want to say to Dave before we're going to kick you out? Just listen to this podcast and then we're going to invite other people in. I can't wait to hear other people's stories. I really can't. Tracy-Ann?
I think it's an amazing story and really inspirational. Gives me real hope that actually, you know, if you really want to do something, you can do it.
Anybody can do anything, they just don't realise it. Everything is there within our grasp. We just need to know that we have the tools inside to be able to do this, and it's there for us. So just grab that opportunity. But I've got an agent that books my seminars around the world. We're in Serbia in 3 weeks' time.
Wow.
We go to America, but it's the first time that I've got an open seminar that anybody can come to. And if we get the agreement on it, it will be Wembley Arena in November.
Wow.
Big one. Right. That's going to be a firewalk and everything.
Share your link. If there's anything that we can do, then please, you know, please do ask.
Well, you and I need to speak because your story is interesting. Your story, I get people to come along and speak about their life, the things that have happened to them, how they've overcome it, and show that with the right mindset and breaking away from these constraints that we had that are imposed on us, we can live the life we were meant to. We get in touch with the person we were destined to be. So I'll speak to you off, you know, on another platform. And
just send me details.
Yeah.
Send me your details on DM on Twitter. That would be awesome. Also, please all connect with each other. Thank you, my darling.
Okay.
Thank you.
I've sent you a message on Facebook, a messenger.
All right. Okay.
Just to jog your memory when you come off of here.
Thank you, my darling. Thank you so much. I'm overwhelmed. You know, this is a good time to have a break, guys. We're just going to watch a podcast. Well, not watch a podcast. Listen to a podcast. Tracy-Ann, do you want to share with everybody what this one's about? It's going to be 4 minutes long. Go grab yourself a cuppa or listen to this with intent. Thank you, Dave. Okay. And then we'll open the seat back again afterwards. Okay. So just give us a few.
Keep being epic in all that you do.
Thank you, my darling. And you just keep shining the light that you do. Bye, lovely. Right, we'll press play then. Do you want to share it with everybody, Tracy, on what this is? No, I've got it ready to open, but do you want to introduce it? What is it? No, I've got it ready, but do you want to tell everybody what it's about?
Oh, okay. So this is about breaking down the barriers.
Right. Okay. So we've got 4 minutes. If you want to go grab a drink, then please do so. But I think we need a breather after that as well. So write anything on the side. We won't talk. Put your thing on mute as well, Tracy-Ann, so we can't hear it back in echo. Get ready. I've not heard it.
before we're born, when we reach 6 months, we become conscious. We only feel, we do not think. 80% of our brain is actually formed after birth, not before. And the first thing that we become aware of is we feel our environment. And the question to us is, who is our environment? Our mother. All research shows that the cells always get affected by the environment it finds itself in. And you are a bunch of cells, 25 billion cells you are, each one of you, okay? Now, the second question we often ask ourselves, which is most important, is what kind of environment you find yourself in the moment you begin to feel? Your environment is your mother's consciousness. If she's happy, it's a happy, welcome environment. If she's sad, it is a sad environment. If something was going on in her life when she was carrying you, this is your message about your world you have come into. See? So that means your experience of life and your picture of life is already formed before you're born. Not only that, it's formed before you have the ability to understand what it is. You see? So when the mother is pregnant, if her relationship with the husband is not very good, then the consciousness of your father affect her own consciousness, affect you. See? So we have already, before we're born, have an idea about the world that we're going to come into. See? So this is what we call your first experience of the world. Now, please pay attention to the next couple of sentences, are very important. If you feel something that you don't understand, what can you do about that? Nothing. Now, imagine in this room now, there's a very young child here, like a baby, okay? And this room catches fire. What's going to happen to you? You're going to stand up, you walk out, and you talk to people outside and say, you know, I was in this hotel room, and the hotel caught fire, and I ran away, and I'm safe now, because you understand what is fire, you understand how to leave, you understand how to run, and you understand how to make yourself safe. What would that young child do? He doesn't know what fire is. He doesn't know how to run, yes? What will he do or she do? How can they survive? What mechanism, what support are we given biologically in order to survive? Fear is reaction from the body to help you to survive. It is not a bad thing at all. Many of us, early stages of our life, had many experiences, and some of them are very painful. We didn't understand what they are. And the most common one is your separation from the person who should be with you and give you the safety and the love you need very early in life. Some people don't understand how painful and difficult the separation from the person who brings you to life and the consequences it has in our life to the end. This is the trauma many people have. They don't understand it. So if we don't understand something, that means the brain is not able to process the experience. In the first 2 years of life, our brain is not formed fully. So the centers of the brain who process experience, turn them into memory, they are not there. That means whatever happened to you stays with you until this moment. And this is what we call unfinished business.
You've been listening. Wow, it's the first time I've heard that one, Tracy Ann. So I'd love to know your feedback for everybody who's listening right now. You on mute, or Tracy? I know you're back on live. You've got a bit of an echo. Are you there?
I'm here.
It's just got a bit of an echo at times. You might have to jump out in a second if it keeps carrying on and then come back in. That was really radical for me on the life-changing transformational weekend, I've called it. That if in that first 0 to 2, or that first part of the baby's life, if they've not had those firm foundations built in, that can then resonate, and they might not know what it is even at an adult stage, going, there's something missing, there's something not quite right. Mine's kind of radical because, like I told you, I was fostered, so I was taken away from my birth mum, so she must have been under so much stress, and she was running away to try and hide me when I was inside her. So I can't imagine what she was feeling, at that moment in time. Then also being in a children's home, or a, what do you call it, what Annie was in, what do you call them? Like a children's home, but they had them in those days. Orphanage, that's it, thank you. And me not having those basics there, so I kind of hit a slight raw nerve, but I loved what he said about the fear. The fear is our mechanism, and it's a good thing. So actually now, I mean, you've seen the book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I think for me, that it's all made sense, and there's an inner knowing that even though you can't explain. And I've said to you, words sometimes just don't put across with how you feel and what you think and why you do what you do or where you're heading. I can't explain what it is I'm doing. It sounds radical, it sounds weird, but I know that now that I've had this radical experience, that I'm ready, and there's nothing or no one is gonna sway me or try and stop now what it is what I want to do. What are your thoughts on it, Tracy?
What it's made me think about is how all these things may have happened to us, but we have no conscious awareness of it, so we don't have a memory of it. So how can we deal with something that we can't even remember, but it's there affecting us? And it's not just people that have had a traumatic experience like you had. Even people that grew up with two parents can have these traumatic memories that they're not aware of. And I think it's really important that we acknowledge that we're sometimes dealing with stuff that we don't know, we don't remember.
And I said it's good to feel all the feelings that we did. I mean, one of them I talked about earlier was jealousy. I never thought, how can I be jealous, and it's a real true emotion. And actually, do you know what was fantastic? Dr. Manise knew exactly what he was doing. He was controlling the situation that transformational weekend. He was pushing people to the limit in a good way. So what I want to say by that is, you're making me angry now. It got me really mad that one particular day, and I went kind of stubborn, and I was like, that I'm not playing this game. I don't want to come back tomorrow, and I don't like you. And I didn't say it physically, but that's what I was feeling underneath. And why do you think he did it? He did it to get an emotion. He did it to draw that out of me, that anger, that jealousy, that frustration, that bitterness, that lostness, that... do you know what? I've had such a weekend of radical emotion that I feel like now I've kind of cleared the closet, and I've cleared my past, and I'm ready to now live for the present moment and go into the future. Can I just say, your daughter's on the side. Do you want to jump in, Holly, and just tell people what you thought about is this the first one you've been on? Have you done one before? She done one before, Tracy?
Yeah, she's second one.
Yeah, do you want to jump in, Holly, and just say hi? If you don't want to show your face, that's fine. But if you do, then that's fine as well. We can just hear your voice and just tell them about your life-changing experience. Because is she 19?
Yes.
She's 19 years old. I'm in the library at the moment, so she can't speak. Well, do you want to type on the side then what your experience is in? Does anybody else want to jump into the seat and tell us about your life-changing experiences, what you went through, what you got from it, and what advice you could give to people from what you actually, have learned, through that? It's beautiful to see and hear and witness people having taken courage, even though the fear is there. It definitely is, Jill. I mean, listening to your story, they're just inspiring. They really, really are. It's kind of really, I think everybody's got a story to tell. That's the thing. But I can't wait through some of the times that I've been through, all my life. I'm going, right, God, give me a break now. I think I've been through enough. But I can't wait until the day I'm stood on stage. And it ain't about me. It's about saying to each and every one person in the audience or the group or whatever the scenario is, that that they don't have to be in fear, they don't have to live in the past, that no matter what they've been through, you know, if I can get through all this crap in my life and still have a smile on my face, you can too. And that's kind of what I want to be. I don't want to go on stage as well, Tracy Ann. This is another thing about people teaching you on what to say and how to say it and be on stage. I mean, there's those Toastmasters that go, present yourself in this way. I'm not like that. You know, I'm proper Yorkshire. Well, I wasn't born in Yorkshire, but I've been brought up in Yorkshire. But there's something about me being my authentic self and not comparing myself against anybody else and telling my story, not in a feel sorry for me in a victim way. I just want to go, do you know what? I've been through this shit and this crap in my life, but do you know what? I'm so glad that Dave mentioned it earlier. I'm so glad I've been through every single one of them. And I want to thank you to everyone who played a part in the story of my life, because right this moment is a day that I choose to be happy, to be content, to live the life that I was actually put on this earth to do. And the moment we can stop fearing death, that's one. You know, so, you know, I'm kind of looking forward to death, but you know what? I don't want to go just yet. So let me do what I need to do on this earth right now before I go.
I think Holly's made a really good point there about how do we change in society? How do we allow children to feel their feelings?
How do we?
Yeah. How do we change that? Because in our society at the minute, children really struggle to feel their feelings. And how do we change that? How do we bring it into our society so that children can feel their feelings and that's okay?
What would you say to that? Because I'll say something that's kind of, I remember when my little girl was a young baby, and I'm telling you something quite personal now. A dad would have a go at me, her dad, and she'd be in my arms. And I would kind of suppress everything that was going on. So it's kind of weird, me singing to her and ignoring what was going on externally and singing to her and, you know, shaking her about and playing with her and stuff, even when there was the mist of that going on external. But would she have felt a falseness around me singing and being like that as a mum? Or would she have felt the true inner me that was feeling that I didn't want to hear what was going on externally, and I didn't want her to wear the same. I didn't want that low vibration bringing out on her.
I don't know. I can't answer that. I can't answer that.
The funny one, isn't it? And I just hope that she was 3 when I left her dad. She was 3 years old when I left her dad, and he's a brilliant, brilliant dad. Absolutely brilliant, the best dad in the world to my little girl, and we get on extremely well. And she's with her dad 3 nights a week, and we make the best of a bad job or a bad situation. And I've always said to myself, I think I've always tarnished myself for leaving her dad. And I always felt I had to overcompensate our daughter, for what I did. And I felt like she blamed me, and she kind of has, in a funny kind of way. She knew what was going on, and she felt like she could play me against her dad and her dad against me and stuff. And yeah. Intelligent creatures, that's what I will say, Tracy. I think they're very intelligent.
Yeah, if they can. Now, I suppose what I'm thinking about is more the everyday stuff where children are experiencing their feelings, but they're not talking about them. You know, they're not, because they don't have the labels or the words to say how they're feeling. They can't release the feelings, so they tend to build up. Whereas, you know, if we allow children to start learning how to name their feelings, it can really, really help.
That's lovely, is that? We're going to have to read some of the stuff on the side there. But just before I do, I'll say, do you know, like sometimes my little girl says something like she's angry or she's frustrated or she cries or she lashes out or she says something really horrible and terrible. That's all irrelevant is the word I'd use. Irrelevant. It's getting to the cause of why she's feeling that way and she's frustrated and she can't get out. And I've heard you've said to me loads of times that the brain doesn't fully develop until they're age 24. So, you know, she's got a long way to go. She's not thinking logically.
No, she's not.
I want to stop suppressing, you know, stop crying, stop shouting, stop doing this, stop doing that. I want to say stop. I want to stop doing that, and I want to stop saying no. So what I've started doing now is saying, what do you think? you know, when she asked me something, what do you think? Mummy would say, or what do you think?
You can say,
and then she'll
say
go,
to her, you can
gonna say no, and I'll go, why do you think that?
Yeah.
So then I'm now trying to get that conversation out of her. Why would you think Mummy would say no?
It's a little bit advanced for an 8-year-old actually, because they don't. Yeah, because they don't actually get proper abstract thinking until they're a teenager. So it's quite difficult for them to think about what somebody else is thinking about or feeling, and it's a process of learning. So what you can actually do is just say to her, you can describe what you see. So you can say, you seem like you're really angry right now, or I can see that you're feeling frustrated right now. Tell me about it.
Oh, wow. That's simple.
It's quite simple. So all you have to do is say what you see. So you seem frustrated, you seem angry, you seem upset, you seem sad. Tell me about it. And then what they can do is release that uncomfortable feeling, and talk about it, and then move on with the day.
Do you know something? Antenatal classes, this is weird. Antenatal classes, anybody who's had a baby or gone through all that, or the partners or whatever that have gone through it, we need to be learning about this in these antenatal classes. Maybe not when you're pregnant, but you know what I mean? This should be just as important, or just as powerful, or just as crucial to help you deal with parenting. You know, like, no books can kind of like guide you through some of this. I mean, I'm reaping the rewards of the negative responses that I've done to my daughter, and now having to backtrack and try and change that. But I feel now, after this transformational weekend, that I'm now, just for the first time, I believe that I'm a mum. I believe I'm a good mum, and I believe that it's the first time I've felt like a mum. Because I feel like postnatal depression's had the better of me for like 8 years now. So I've got the tools, I've got the guidance, I've got you, I've got everything that I need, and not to tarnish myself, and not to, you know, be hard on myself, and just go, you know what, I'm learning and I'm growing. But hopefully I can stop the cycle happening to my daughter, and then she has to have help and counselling, then she passes it on to her children and her children's children.
If you think about it, if you're able to be kind and have compassion for yourself, that's what you're modelling for her. So then she'll grow up thinking, actually, it's okay to be kind to yourself, because that's what my mum does, so I can do it as well. So, so everything we do is absorbed by them. So just by being kind and compassionate with yourself, you're passing that on to the next generation.
Wow, there's loads of notes going on the side and comments from people. Something there, I'm 28 years old, and sometimes I have motivational issues. I feel abandoned at times and use distractions like TV, internet, to avoid having to book up to real life. My mum had experiences of emotional tornado shortly after I was born. I think it's connected, but you know, it's my responsibility. My mum gives unconditional love, and it's my job to tell my body that I'm not abandoned, and I never was. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, who that is, but Tracy Ann, do you want to answer that?
Wow. I think it's fantastic that you're able to acknowledge that, and it sounds like you might be being a little bit hard on yourself as well. It is your job to tell your body that you weren't abandoned. I completely agree, but I think that can be quite difficult to do sometimes. You know, sometimes you need somebody to support you, to help you to learn that.
Might be good to speak to Dave, who was on earlier. Do you remember Dave? Let me just find his link on Twitter. I've opened up the seat again. I'd like anybody to jump in and tell us about their life-changing experiences, what they went through, what happened, and what changes have made after that, and maybe how they can share something then going forward, what you took from that we can maybe share with it.
I think going back to the person is word theory. I don't know who that is, but yes, it's true that, and it is connected, that sometimes if the mum has an emotional tornado, it can be challenging for the young person. But actually, because you're so aware of it, then you're in a great position, aren't you, to heal it?
I was just going to say that's the same thing that I kind of went through. Sorry, I don't know your name, but I wanted to say that's the kind of same thing that I actually went through. Emotional turmoil, but I just didn't know it because obviously I was fostered, and so it's the same kind of thing. So what I've had to do is I've had to go back and reset it all. Is that the right word to say? Acknowledge it, go through the emotion, and then be able to move on. And you have to, it's a process. You have to go through all that. That's what I'm saying. So I'm trying to find Dave's link